challenge that, it goes to a vote of the U.S. House, in this case controlled by Paul Ryan and the Never Trump faction. Washington, who are going to have a hard time getting used to the president's leadership style. And
is this possible? Even conceivable?
They said ignorant, crude, vulgar, put his feet on the furniture, an ignoramus, a cowboy, one of our greatest presidents. Theodore Roosevelt, a lightweight, an egomaniac, constantly self-promoting. Sound familiar?
Yep.
One of our greatest presidents. Trump's going to do it his way. You see, when you win the election, that entitles you to do it your way, within obviously the confines of the
country. Sure.
People, they're tired of polite. They're tired of phony. They're tired of people pretending they like each other who hate each other. They're tired of the whole artificial one-party meme of Washington. They want someone who will break eggs. Your children go to college, they get a great education, and then they have to move in with you because there are no jobs, because the policies of Obama, the Bushes, and the Clintons planned it that way. They knew there would be no jobs, but as long as they got paid, they didn't really mind. And that's really what my book is about. It's about a revolution, and the fact that Donald Trump not only sees these things, but despite the fact that Hillary and her cronies probably spend in excess of $2 billion, and despite the fact that the mainstream media programming, particularly CNN, MSNBC, is wall-to-wall, multi-million-dollar anti-Trump commercials, and the fact that Google and Facebook are playing with the Trump logarithms to limit his reach, Trump is getting screwed by the old media and the new media, and he spends $275 million, and he wins. Against all of that money. This is why Hillary was so violent. She was certain they had paid for this. She couldn't possibly spend that kind of money and lose. The Trump press staff, at the height of his nomination, was 2 people. The Trump press staff at the height of the general election was 5 people.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Hillary's press staff had over 200 staffers. So he took out a monolith, and he won.
Let's take some final calls.
That story.
Ready for some more calls?
He brought into the U.S. and cleared. And then one more quick question. George Soros, are there plans within the FBI to go after this man?
Let's go to your first question, because I couldn't hear who you described.
A fellow by the name of Leo Wanta. They claim that he was able to get billions of dollars under his control during the Reagan administration.
I'm unfamiliar with that situation,
okay.
So I'm not going to guess. But let's go to your second question. George Soros, first of all, is living in the United States. He has very clearly paid people, financed people who advocate the assassination of the president and the violent overthrow of the government. Pick him up. Arrest him now. Charge him. We have a system. Let him go to trial. I'm perplexed why this has not happened. If he has bodyguards, overcome them. This is the federal government we're talking about. I see that David Block has suffered a heart attack. I'm wondering whether it wasn't really a hit on him by Soros, angry about the fact that Block blew through $30 million and had nothing whatsoever to show for it. He ran a vituperative campaign of hate against myself and Alex Jones. Meanwhile, Donald J. Trump was marching triumphantly to the White House. If I were Soros, I'd want my money back.
He's not going to get it back. It's gone.
Well, and Mr. Brock has a little trouble paying taxes. I have trouble paying taxes too, but I file and I send in my payments. In his case, he never files. He avoids taxes by mixing funds between nonprofits and hard political committees. Put it this way, I'm a Republican. If I did what he has done, I would already be in.
By the way, how did the president's tax return from years gone back even get released? Who leaked those things?
Boy, that was one of the great nothing burgers of all time. Hey, Rachel Maddow, you got nothing. Donald Trump's rich and paid a lot of taxes.
And he paid. What did he pay? $38 million in taxes that year. But who got the tax returns? How'd that happen?
It is hard to know. They're marked client copies, so they come out of the office. This could be a disk disgruntled former Trump Organization employee. There are some. There are some people in that business who feel they should have gone to Washington but weren't qualified to do so. It could be an ex-wife. Who knows? The president's pretty smart. Could be the president himself. It certainly made his critics look like fools.
Well, it sure did. All right, final calls. Let's go to Joe in the Bronx.
I wanted to ask you now, do you feel that the current cable news channels are acting as surrogate mouthpieces to try to bring about a World War III with the Russians? And also, I have a question about the Uranium One program, in which Hillary is said to have sold 20% of the U.S. uranium reserve.
First, sadly, cable news has become a reflection of network news. It's all one groupthink. The removal of Roger Ailes in a coup d'etat at Fox based on trumped-up charges of sexual harassment was strictly a political move.
Did you have to use the word trumped up?
Yes, I guess. In any event, this shifted control of the network, day-to-day control to globalist Rupert Murdoch. And now you have, airheads like Shepard Smith, who seemed to be incredibly pro-Trump when Ailes was running the place, now being incredibly anti-Trump. I would predict to you that within a year to a year and a half, Sean Hannity, Judge Jeanine Pirro, Judge Andrew Napolitano will all be gone from Fox. I can't tell you where they end up, but they will no longer be at Fox. However, I would not be shocked in the AT&T Time Warner merger to see a change of management at CNN, which would take a completely different view of.
That may be a big change. That may be a big change indeed.
So that kind of remains to be seen. But yeah, they're pretty much all in the tank. If you want to know what's really going on, you better go to InfoWars or Breitbart News or Daily Caller, or listen to George Noory, or listen to a number of other well-produced, well-researched, alternative media outlets that are not controlled and don't have a preordained agenda. As George said several times tonight, he's not right or left. He just wants the truth. Let's just get to the facts. That's kind of how Trump is. He's really more of a pragmatist than he is an ideologue.
You got to get him to call into the show one night, Roger.
Well, he should do more of that. I think that Sean Spicer and his establishment staffers disserve him by not recognizing the importance of the alternative media. If you're going to do interviews for the Daily Caller and Breitbart, then you should do an interview for, George Noory and InfoWars.
Absolutely. This uranium, did she sell off the uranium to the Russians?
She very clearly did. This was extremely well reported by, of all places, the New York Times. But it is only one of a myriad of sweetheart deals that she and John Podesta do in Russia. They are the ones who make millions of dollars off the clique around Vladimir Putin, and then in a classic case of projection, that is what they accuse Trump of. Donald Trump has never actually met Vladimir Putin. I think they crossed paths in the dressing room someplace for some TV show, but they have never sat down mano a mano and had a discussion.
And I don't think Vlad speaks English, does he?
No, but Vlad he knows a liar when he sees one, and you could see why he would have a low regard for Mrs. Clinton. Nothing she has ever promised him has she kept her word on. So he knows what he's doing.
I mean, he's no Boy Scout. We know that. But let me tell you, he's in the chair, and we should be working with him.
Well, and Trump understands you don't preface a negotiation with someone by insulting them several times in public.
No, you don't get much done that way.
But that seems to be the Clinton approach to him. So, look, I think Donald Trump is our last best hope for peace.
Thomas in La Jolla, California.